Welcome back to Hoops Lounge. I'm Montreal Mark, my man sporting Phil.
How's it going, guys?
The Los Angeles Lakers.
What's happening with these guys?
Oh my gosh. So we got all kinds of issues going on here. Mike D'Antoni has been brought in. A lot of issues. Why not Phil Jackson?
Mike Brown out, obviously. It's
very quickly. So what's your first thoughts?
My first thoughts is they're never going to hear the end of this not hiring Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was the safe pick. Because even if they had lost with Phil Jackson, you could never say they could have done better.
Zen master.
It's the safe pick. D'Antoni is an interesting pick.
Mm-hmm.
They have some good pieces, which you're going to go into. But I think there are missing some pieces. And I think their ability to shoot the three-point bomb, or their lack thereof, is really going to hinder them. I mean, there obviously are some advantages.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, a great book to read if you want some insight on how this team is going to work this year is a book called 7 Seconds or Less about the Phoenix Suns back around 2004. It talks about the intricacies of Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash being together in the same team and their system together. Big problem right now. Steve Nash has a major issue with his leg from a contusion. He has not had an injury like this that's lasted this long in 10 years. He has nerve damage, and they don't know when exactly it's going to heal. He hasn't even been able to jog for over a week.
And he's the motor that's supposed to push this D'Antoni system, right?
He's the head of the snake, and so the snake isn't really going right now. And speaking of snakes, Mamba somehow is running the show, and you know the system isn't really set up for that way. So a lot of things not really falling into place.
Well, they don't have that proverbial pass-first point guard, which they would have had with Nash, but needed in this D'Antoni system. We've seen in the past with Raymond Felton in New York and other guards really excel in this offense. But Steve Blake and such, not quite up to par. They have some nice pieces. I think at the end of the day, Dwight Howard's going to play well in that system. I think Kobe's going to play well in that system. My issue is at the 4 and the 5, they have Metta World Peace, who is kind of an unsung hero this year. He's quietly keeping them together. He's gotten in great shape. He's quieted down. You know, his little outbursts here and there. But he's playing really good D, really good offense, starting to hit some threes. But Pau Gasol, I feel him and Dwight are a little bit too cumbersome in an offense. Now, remember in Phoenix, they didn't even have a real center. They had Amari, and Marion was the 4. There's a big difference between a Marion and a Pau Gasol.
Yeah, I mean, so the formula that worked really well in Phoenix isn't coming into play here. So, I mean, something we were talking about a bit off camera is, you know, if you're going to trade away someone, Gasol, right?
Gasol is the most obvious trade piece because A, he's a very talented player. He can score in the low post. Not many players can do this. B, he has an expiring contract fairly soon for a lot of money, so save the team that acquires him a lot of money off the cap. But the thing is, what you need back is, you can't just lose that big talent and get no one back.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of a couple of rumors such as, you know, you could go to New Orleans and get a Ryan Anderson type player with like an Aminu at the 3 to bring him back from defensive help. What you basically need is a stretch 4. There's a lot of them in the league, but it's also difficult because you don't want to trade Pau Gasol to a team that you're going to play in the playoffs, right?
Throw him in the East, you know.
Yeah, throw him in the East and throw him to a team that I actually thought of an interesting trade going to 76ers, because 76ers,
they need help.
Being without Andrew Bynum, who seems to be
he likes the bowl.
Yeah, bowling, and it's not serving his body well. But there's a lot of wing players like a Thaddeus Young. Spencer Hawes would be fairly nice. He's similar to Pau Gasol, but he stretches a little more. You have your Nick Youngs. You got some more shooters on that. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of teams like that. I mean, we just saw Indiana losing Danny Granger.
Yeah, big loss.
There's a lot of teams that can use low post presence, and a lot of teams that'll have that passing game. I mean, even going to Orlando, I know it's funny because we were talking about like Andrew Nicholson, the Canadian.
Right.
You know,
who's playing great.
Yeah, he could come in and play that role. You know, and you can get some other side pieces with that. Needless to say, he's a great trade piece in Pau Gasol, but it has to be the right fit. And are they willing to pull another blockbuster deal? You know, because there's a certain thing to be said about tinkering too much with a good thing.
Right. And Kupchak's, you know, he's willing to do interesting moves like that. So, and you know, there's always drama in Los Angeles because it is Hollywood.
If they move him, though, I think Kobe's going to have to see something nice coming back, though, because Kobe and Powell become kind of buddies after a while.
That's true, and Kobe seems to have a lot of say in his organization. He's been there for a long, long time, so he may be pulling a lot of strings.
So I mean, he's going to have that.
So LA, obviously, there's a lot going on with this franchise. Just wanted to mention mention quickly, Robert Sacre from Northern Vancouver. He's getting a lot of kind of cult status on the internet for his.
He's almost on YouTube as much as any other Lakers player.
He's got a lot of gifts for all the stuff he's doing on the bench when the Lakers do their cool stuff. So
well, it kind of reminds me of like a modern Mark Madsen when they
true.
had him back in the day,
yeah.
but a little more colorful.
Yeah, so.
And I think he'll get his chance. I think especially
last pick in the draft, and most of these guys don't even make it in the league.
But he's tall, he's athletic, he hustles, he realizes his. I've seen a report on him. He realizes he's a center. He just wants to play defense, box out, rebound, block shots. That's his game. He doesn't try to be fancy. And there's something to be said about role players who understand their role and are content with it.
And he was involved with Canada basketball this summer. He was at the senior men's camp. I think that helped him mature a lot. And I think having Steve around, hopefully when Steve's healthy, it's going to help him too. So that that team,
and hopefully push them both to play for Canada ball going forward.
Yeah, hopefully. So we'll see. And so, but the Lakers, always interesting to watch the Lake show. And Jack Nicholson's got something special to watch because they got some pieces, and hopefully it works out for them. So
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting series. They should make the playoffs, but at this rate, I don't know.
Yeah, so
we'll see.
The West is wide open. Once Harden went over to Houston, anything can happen in the West. So
everything's all over the place. I mean, we're seeing, like we said, our Memphis, San Antonio's, these teams creeping up. We'll have to see, guys.
Yeah, so check us out on Hoops Lounge, Facebook Hoops Lounge / Hoops Lounge, also on Twitter, Montreal Mark, Sporting Phil.
All over the place. Sports all the time.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.